It's almost like I know what I'm doing sometimes. Although we need to work on the intro stuff. We used to have like that kind of with the helicopter drone thing. I want to get into one of those.
Yes.
I need to get into one of those. But it's another thing that and we can do intro videos. I just haven't figured out how to make those yet. Like CapCut or something like that, I suppose.
But I have CapCut on my phone.
I don't have that kind of talent. My God, my hair is just.
I thought you were calling Keegan.
You know what I did? And I had a haircut about a week or so ago, but you know what?
It
didn't. You know, it looked great when she finished it. You know, but like within a week or so, like it almost felt like it wasn't. Because it started winging out already. I think it's because of the humidity in the
maybe
air.
I don't know.
That's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be this. It's all coming. She did a great job, but I think it's just. Maybe I didn't ask for something enough yet, but we'll see what happens. It's getting on to the time of year where it's probably short of your season. I don't want to do that.
Your mother will be so happy.
Oh, I know my mother would be happy, but I wouldn't be.
No, but I find that
Elizabeth Rice.
We can never do our hair like the day that your hairstylist does it for the first time. You know, like then you can't quote unquote replicate it. Because you come out looking great, and then you can't necessarily replicate it. So
seriously, like Melissa was talking. She's like, "I thought you were going to get a haircut." I'm like, "I did. It didn't work out so well."
And I said the same thing.
Yeah,
I'm going to get a haircut.
It didn't work out. So, hey, guess what? It's Monday.
Yeah,
and
it's 8 o'clock. Well, it's actually after 8.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's details. Details are a thing.
It's 8 o'clock.
And if it's Monday at 8 o'clock, then it's
Mighty Monkeys
Nerd World Weekly, and we are your hosts. My name is Tanya. This is Chris.
Hi.
I might have missed on that one. Oopsies. Yeah. Right? Bells, you noticed it.
Just give me scissors.
No. Doing sharp instruments around my head? That's not going to happen.
No. Hi, baby.
I love you dearly. You're one of my best friends ever. But no.
Oh. Wow. Early tuna sighting.
Early tuna sighting. Come here, baby. Elizabeth is here. She wants to say hi. Come here. There we go. Say hi, Elizabeth. Say hi, Elizabeth. And there's a little Melissa left. Hello, Melissa.
Melissa. Baby.
Yep, there we go. Hey, get the slurps. Get the slurps. Judy Moon is here. She even ate well and everything tonight. She's been a good girl.
She had a little bit of cookie.
Point.
She was happy. She got a little bit of chocolate chip cookie, but not the chocolate chips.
Right.
Because I knew better. And I
explain a little bit. She's angry about work stuff. Yes, Elizabeth, I am too. But yes, Juno's here to make your life a little bit better.
I'm finally not angry about work stuff.
I am. It's my turn again. All right.
What
you scooching?
Are you angry about work?
I know. Lately, these past couple of years have been rough. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So here we are, dear.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
It's time to talk about Daredevil. Born Again. So technically season 4 for all the diehard fans, right? The season 1 for Daredevil's placement on Disney Plus and joining officially the MCU.
Which I had a hard time watching this yesterday because knowing that we were going to talk about it. So I was logged into a friend's Disney Plus and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, because your friend is set to TV 14. And Daredevil is definitely not TV 14. It's not family friendly.
No, so I'm like, Chris, I need to.
Yeah, I know.
In a panic, I'm sending you a text. I'm like, what's your Disney Plus?
See, now I'm going to tangent there because Elizabeth's like, the music might be slightly loud. Okay, I played it a little bit longer than usual, but it's really soft here at our end. I've got
we can't.
So it's kind of weird how it balances out. So we'll work on that.
So maybe because our speakers weren't necessarily all the way up.
No, not necessarily. Fine tuning for later. Fine tuning for later. Anyway, so Daredevil and of course before it, Deadpool versus Wolverine. Yeah, I speak English good today. You're going to hear me trip over words that I should not be tripping over today. It's going to be a thing. It is basically Disney's way of saying, okay, Marvel fans, we hear you. We know what you like. We're going to make a segment of our programming for you, even though we're Disney, right? And let me tell you, there was some.
The gloves are off.
The gloves are off. Holy cow!
Gloves were off.
I was a little okay. So first, spoilers. Thank you for picking up on this where I was going. Right.
It's like we know each other.
Yes, that's true. It's almost like we've been friends for 30 years. Right. See, I will never have my hair this short.
31.
31 years. Has it really been 31 years?
1994.
31 flavors of friendship.
Yes.
31 ice cream flavors. 31 Baskin and Robbins.
Yes. Chocolate.
My hair will never be that. Look at this. This looks horrible. I look like an entire.
You haven't had your hair like that since you had Sasha. You did a man bun in order to.
But my hair was this short when I was still living on Burr Street. So that was what, a good 12 years ago. I had it cut this short once, but I got better. Anyway, love the episode in the bank. Yes. I did too, because Kamala's father is such a great character.
Oh, it was a nice crossover.
Yeah, but I want to talk about that. So one of the first spoilers I'm going to mention, it's 9-episode season. It was supposed to be an 18-episode season, but they're like, no, we got too much here. We're going to go 9 and then a quick break. And then when we come back, we'll do another 8 and kind of go from there. So we have 2 seasons of Daredevil coming at you. What is the general gist of it? The general gist of it is Kingpin has resurfaced after being shot in the face by Echo at the end of the Echo series. And he is trying something new. He wants to be mayor of New York, and he becomes mayor of New York. And there's a lot of interesting allegory and pattern and parallels between what's going on with Kingpin's character and running for the mayor of New York and current modern politics, which I will. Apparently, I'm not allowed to talk about everyone. Although, if you know me, you know where my politics stands. But I do really want to hang out with work stuff like just happened. So I really gotta figure something out. Have a great night, guys. All right, Elizabeth, we missed you already.
West Coast feed,
and we'll be thinking about you. We love you. Anyway, you jump in one second. Now, so that's kind of like the underlying current is Kingpin becoming mayor of New York and genuinely wanting to do the right thing, but then you see his de-evolution back into being Kingpin over the course of the season.
Oh yeah,
right.
Full on Kingpin by
the last episode. He's full throttle Kingpin again, like more Kingpin than ever before. And then you have Matt, who is trying to bury Daredevil as deep as he possibly can.
Fight that urge. Fight his inner nature.
Right, and then but by episode 8 of the 9 of this first season, he's set with a crisis, and he just looks he's just thinking about it. You can see it, and then he goes, fuck it, and just goes for it. And then that was it. It's all over at that point. But it was interesting to see the story. Now, with like with Andor in the Star Wars series, and with Echo a little bit, with Hawkeye to a particular degree, what you're seeing is storytelling. So people are thinking it's a comic book series, therefore it's going to be action all the time. No, it's not. It's never going to be. If you guys follow comic books, and I know a lot of you don't because of the way you talk about these series, you understand that there's a lot of things that happen throughout the course of these stories. They evolve. So people will go, oh, it's so slow, because you're not paying attention to what's actually happening. That's my judgment of you, and I apologize, but it's true. So there are fights, there are things that happen, there are action pieces, but for the most part, it's story leading up to these big moments.
Yeah. So the show was named after the 1986 comic book story arc, Born Again, which was written by Frank Miller. However, it's not a direct adaptation. Elements of the arc had already been adapted into season 3 of the Netflix Daredevil series.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
So some of it's already been there. So
It starts off, okay, again, spoiler territory, guys. So if you have not seen Daredevil Born Again yet, I would strongly urge you to do it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm giving it 8.5, 9, because I really felt it was an incredibly well-tailored story with incredibly deep characters and a lot of interesting complexities. And that's what Daredevil's really all about, is telling you about the human condition. You know, Matt Murdock himself is this great dichotomy of somebody who was raised religious and somebody who was raised with a certain, Catholic kind of viewpoint in the world. And as a lawyer, but then, as he evolves into Daredevil, he sees that he's two sides of the same coin, right? So it's rectifying the devil and the lawyer at the same time. There's lots of
the scales of justice.
Yes, there's lots of Daredevil arcs that have him constantly questioning his own, humanity on a regular basis. And this is no different. And I think it's a wonderful story about characters and people. The reason I'm not going all the way to 10 is I felt now that this is in the MCU, there could have been more than just a couple of one or two passing references to MCU stuff. Like there's that great scene that Elizabeth mentions about in the bank, where Matt finds himself in the middle of a bank robbery, and he is actually teamed up with Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel's father, who works in the bank. And he's such a wonder. I love that man so much. And Kamala's dad.
Kamala's bobblehead.
Yes, and Kamala's bobblehead is on his desk and everything.
Do you know Ms. Marvel?
So he makes a mention of Ms. Marvel, and he makes a mention of his daughter being in California working on a big project, which could be Young Avengers. People have been hypothesizing that for a while, especially with Haley Steinfeld being the new Hawkeye and Riri Williams being Ironheart, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I would have liked, I don't need fan service levels of references, but I think more than just a passing connection to Ms. Marvel. And then at one point, Kingpin's talking about his anti-vigilante stance, and he goes, people running around in devil masks and skulls on their shirts, and some spider guy, right? So it was like,
I missed that some spider guy.
And some spider guy reference. And I would have liked a little bit more nod to the fact that Daredevil is now in the MCU where he belongs, and they can build on that. You have these chaotic events, and it's great because Marvel's always had the cosmic level superheroes like the Fantastic Four and Captain Marvel and
the Avengers
not so much. Well, the Avengers kind of fluctuate between world level and cosmic level, but they stick to world, right? But you have Guardians of the Galaxy, the Eternals, all that stuff going on. That's the cosmic level. And then you have your world level, your Avengers, your X-Men, all that stuff going on. And then you have your street level heroes. Spider-Man was always supposed to be a street level hero. I think that was one of my problems with what they did with Tom Holland's Spider-Man and making him so loud. And they rectified it with No Way Home. With Doctor Strange weaving the spell and having everybody forget that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, or just outright forget Spider-Man for the most part. Because Spider-Man, Daredevil, Punisher, Luke Cage,
Jessica
Jones. These were all street level heroes. People in the trenches, on the streets, in the neighborhoods, working to beat the low level bad guys. So is Kingpin's plot on the overall an Avengers level threat? No, but
he's an annoyance.
Yeah, but they're in New York, where there are several heroes, and it was interesting. If you watch and now that I'm thinking about this, if you watch Hawkeye, you recognize the fact that one of the I think it was Kate Bishop's mother was dating this new guy after her father had passed away, and the new guy turns out to be a Marvel comic book hero named Swordsman, another vigilante in New York City. He was in this. He's in Daredevil this season. So I thought that was kind of a nice nod. Okay, cool. But I don't know what else I need. I didn't want like an Avengers reference. I didn't want Thor showing up. It would have been overpowering. But
Matt says in the last episode, we need an army.
We need an army. I'm thinking,
I'm just like, just go get Hulk.
Just go get a Hulk.
So is that means it's like Jessica and Luke Cage and like trying to get all the
it's
defenders.
possible the defenders show back up, that you see Luke and you see Danny Rand and you see Jessica Jones, but it's also, I mean, as the scene is winding down, you see that he's talking to the remaining good cops on the force,
which was like 6.
So, but still, it's the basis of I mean, it's not, he's not trying to say that all of New York's police department is corrupt. He's just saying that now they're outnumbered by this anti-vigilante task force that Fisk puts together. So anyway, everything starts, they're celebrating. You see Murdoch, you see Foggy, you see Karen, they're hanging out in the very first episode, they're hanging out. And you see that camaraderie between the three again. Mm-hmm. Everything is good. They go out for a drink. Their favorite policeman is retiring. They're celebrating, that they won a case recently. Things are good. Hi, Peter. It's good to see you, man. Peter, real quick, we are in spoiler territory. I'm about to drop a big one right off the jump. So if you have not watched Daredevil, seriously, guys, I don't mind. Pause, walk away, log out. Come back and watch, as Andy would call it, the West Coast feed later on, so you can hear what we were talking about, the whole thing. Anyway, so you have been warned. Here comes the first big drop. In the first episode, by the end of the episode, Bullseye, that Ben Poindexter, has come back, and he kills Foggy. Shoots him from a distance, and then comes in to try and wreck the bar. Daredevil comes out.
They beat the shit out of each other.
They beat the ever. I mean, basically Disney took them off the leash and said, "Go for it, guys. Do what you can."
Well, and
so which platform comments can I see? I can see YouTube and I can see Facebook. I cannot see Instagram. So if you're watching us live on Instagram, I apologize. I'm not responding to any of your comments at this point.
We can't see.
We can't see those, but we're working on that. But we can see you watching us on YouTube and on Facebook.
I suppose I could go over to Instagram.
Okay, well, you try that. See if there anybody's commenting there.
There is a goof in regards to when while Bullseye does have an enforced spine, should be
reinforced spine.
It does not explain him surviving Daredevil throwing him off the building. He fell 4 stories and landed face first, so the traumatic brain injury should have or would have instantly killed him.
They're trying to imply that Bullseye has some low-level superpower, but they're not being authoritative on that just yet.
So I'll make sure I turn my volume off.
Okay, you going into Instagram? All right, so in the very first episode, Bullseye kills Foggy, gets into a massive fight. Knives are thrown. They're shooting each other. They're beating the crap out of each other. There's blood flying all over the place. You know now that this is going to be the Daredevil we're used to from the Netflix series, right? And it's just going to be gritty. It's going to be dark. It's going to be bloody, and it's going to be nasty. And there's a couple of scenes along the way that made a lot of people kind of go, oh, dear God.
Oh, yeah.
Holy moly.
Especially in this last episode. This one was a little over the top.
The last two. I'm going to tell you right now, for those who can be a little on the squeamish side, there's rough spots all the way in the first 6 episodes. You get to episode 7, there's a couple of scenes that are downright holy crap level. And then episodes 8 and 9 have a couple of incidents where it's just like, oh shit. Now, keep in mind, here's another spoiler for you. In episode 9 is when Frank Castle finally shows up to help Daredevil out with sort of, as much as those two get along, they have a very toxic relationship there, or tenuous relationship at best. And when Castle goes to work as the Punisher, he goes to work.
Now, it's funny because I just saw The Accountant 2 on Saturday.
See John Barenthal doing what John Barenthal does again.
And it was the same exact thing. It wasn't necessarily as graphic as Punisher, but it was the same thing. Is somebody was wronged, and so Christopher calls him in Braxton, and then they go to work. Yes.
Starring the Punisher, Batman, and Amanda Waller.
Right.
Yeah,
It was a mix between MCU and DC.
Yeah. So here are the plot lines that are going on in this new season of MCU Daredevil. You've got Fisk taking over the city of New York. Okay, and what he's doing things outwardly to show that he wants to be this this really aggressive for the people mayor. But then his wife, Vanessa, has all this stuff going on in the background where she'd kind of taken over as the queen pin in his absence. So there's a whole lot of organized crime stuff going on underneath.
That he doesn't truly have his hand into,
right?
Because he's mayor.
Yes, because he's mayor. So he's trying to do things. And he even says on a couple of occasions, I want to do this differently. I'm trying to be different. I'm trying to be different. And the Shakespearean line of methinks the lady doth protest too much starts ringing true around episode 3 or 4. It's like, you're trying too hard, son. Something's going on here. What's going on here? And then you start seeing him. I'm going to beat you, child. Right now is not the time, goofball.
Sit.
So, actually, no, never mind. Where was I before Juno rudely interrupted? Yes, I'm talking to you. You rudely interrupted. So you start seeing the cross between Matt fighting his inner demon and Kingpin fighting his inner demon.
They're both fighting their general nature.
Yeah, they're both trying to go, okay, we're just going to be aware of each other. We're going to be civil, but we're going to, but then you see this start to happen.
Yeah.
And then eventually when they cross, it's like, oh, it's on now. It was so satisfying the way it crossed. It was just a great payoff. The writing I thought was pretty well done. Like I said, I'm giving this season of Daredevil an 8.5-ish, maybe almost 9 out of 10. There was some soft spots. There were some slow parts of storytelling. As I said, I would like a little bit more of kind of tie-in with the MCU, a little bit more of a nod to the MCU, saying, yes, we're here. We're a part of this now. But honestly, it feels like something I want, but I can't define it. I wouldn't know what would be best without being over the top.
So Kevin Feige, if you're listening, if you're watching, could you?
Kevin, you did don't listen to me. Don't listen to me, Kevin.
Just
you
put
did
a little bit more nod to the MCU in there.
Even if it's like when Daredevil's kind of like standing on a rooftop somewhere, you see that mural of Tony Stark in the background,
or like just the hint of Avengers Tower.
Or a hint of Avengers Tower, which is going to be Thunderbolts Tower or something. I don't know. I am so looking forward to Thunderbolts. The initial reviews, by the way, have been so positive. I cannot wait. This is going to be amazing. That's a tangent.
And Friday's a gaming day, and Saturday I was planning on going to see Thunderbolts with Sean, but Ann and I are going to SUNY Morrisville to pack Jessica up
and bring her home.
And
this is the end of freshman year?
Yeah.
It's the end of Jessica's freshman year already.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Like a week. So pack everything up and put it in storage. So because not everything's coming home.
Right.
So that was going to be, and then Sunday is our May the 4th at the Rochester Museum and Science Center for a couple hours, and then gaming that afternoon. So I'm looking at
it's a thing.
The 10th.
It's a stuff in a thing. It's a stuff in a thing.
I'm like, I want to go this weekend.
Okay.
That's not happening.
So, brooding over the cityscape is a 10-minute limit. Be respectful. Thank you, Andy. I've seen that meme with a bunch of guys lined up behind Batman.
He has brooded over the landscape, the cityscape a couple times.
He has. You know what? Let me circle back around to the opening credits, because the music, by the way, on a musical level, the soundtrack is phenomenal, and it's really appropriate at the right times. The opening theme to season 1 Disney MCU Daredevil is different than what we're used to from the 3 seasons of Netflix. But the theme from the 3 seasons of Netflix shows up in the closing credits on a couple of occasions, especially in the finale episode 9. You hear those strains, and it kind of ties everything together for me. Now,
and it is a Marvel thing, and there is a mid-scene.
There's a mid-credits tag scene in the final episode, in episode 9. So make sure you don't just go skip and go back to the menu.
Yeah.
All right. There was a point I was going to make, but as usual, you derailed that.
The music theme. The music theme.
It was before that. It was before I brought up the music. Oh, so the opening credits. The opening credits were great. It's very symbolic because you see a lot crumbling. You got Kingpin, and you see New York skyline, and everything says crumble throughout the course of the opening credits. And then at the very end, out of the debris rises up Daredevil. And I thought that was a really interesting kind of visual cue as to how the story is going to go.
Born Again.
I thought that was phenomenal. phenomenal writing, phenomenal characters. You miss certain people, but then you understand why they're not there. There's a couple of moments where, Matt, if you just did ABC, you'd be fine, but no, because he's a really good lawyer. He knows better, right? He's smarter than I am. Sure.
That we wouldn't have the story.
Right. You wouldn't have the story. That's the thing.
It's just like, if they had done this at this time, the movie would be done in 10 minutes.
Have you seen it yet? If so, ask your questions, make your statements in the comment section. Want to hear from you guys. If you're on YouTube or on Facebook, we will see it. Did you see anything on YouTube or on Instagram?
No, because I'm the only one watching.
You're only the one watching on Instagram?
Yes.
That's wild. I wonder if we're wondering if we're doing something wrong on the Instagram.
I don't know, but every time that we do hop over to like Instagram, it says so and 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 so joined, but I don't.
We're not cool enough for you to hang out.
I don't know if you just can right now, while we're watching the camera, to click the Instagram tab to see.
Instagram tab.
See?
Yeah, you're watching.
I'm watching, but
there's a name I cannot pronounce. I see joined. Well,
yeah.
People apparently are just not interesting enough.
So
there's a bit of a delay there too.
So I'm like,
something to figure out. If you're also particularly keen at social media, and Andy Jr., I'm looking at you, we may need some help getting a lot of this stuff figured out. I'm just saying there's only so many answers I have. And after 2 + 2 = 16, I'm really kind of at a loss to figure that stuff out. Oddly, I never got the FB notifications that you went live. That's why I popped to YouTube.
It's weird because I stopped getting the notifications that FC3 went live.
Yeah, a lot of people did. And we haven't changed any of our settings.
I want to say it's meta.
It's a meta thing.
Everything.
Zuckerberg has it out for us.
Because we're banned in Iran.
We are banned in North Korea and Iraq.
Oh,
that was from our Monkey Business podcast days.
Well, who knows?
But we're huge in Egypt. I got you. I may not use it myself, but I'm more than used to being tech support for others. See,
I'm tech support for my building.
So, but really seriously, I mean, I don't want to give away too much. I know I talk about spoiler territory, and I did bring up a couple of big points along the way. But there's so much good stuff going on. There's so much commentary. And that's what one of the things that Daredevil was always best at was putting a magnifying glass and a mirror up to current society and pointing out problems and not being ashamed or not being afraid to go in and just point, and just say, this is the thing. This is what's going on. This is what you need to be aware of, which I've always kind of liked about, that. And now, if you're not familiar with the comic books, but you have watched Hawkeye, you have watched She-Hulk, you have watched Ms. Marvel and all the other series, and now Daredevil, and certain things are like, well, why is it done this way? Why do they do it that way? I would recommend you go to Comics Etc. or 13th Verse or Wonderland Comics and start reading some of these non-major title heroes. You don't always have to go X-Men. You don't always have to go Avengers. You don't always have to go Fantastic Four. You can pick up Punisher. You can pick up Daredevil. You can pick up Spider-Man. You can pick up Ms. Marvel. You can pick up
Runaways.
Pick up Runaways. Great. Nice job picking that one out. Yeah, absolutely.
Anne's favorite, Runaways.
Melissa added a comment to Instagram. Did we see it?
I can see it.
Thank you.
Hi, this is a
Thanks, sweetie.
You know what? I'm logged in as myself, not as FC3.
Okay.
So that might be different. So, because I just joined the live, but maybe if I had logged in,
we have to figure out a lot. We switched a few things around. We are changing how we build stuff. This is just the first step in the process of kind of going into back into podcast mode for the two of us. I want to see Archie meets Jay and Silent Bob. Absolutely. I mean, Kevin Smith would probably be all about that too. But go to your local comic book shops and tell them, hey guys, what's good in Marvel that's not like a big name? And all of these folks will be happy to point you in the right direction. They'll have recommendations. They'll have favorites. They'll have ones they'll be saying, hey, we're not big on this title, but try this title. Jeffrey Knapp. I used to read them all growing up. So did I, man. My biggest collecting days were when I was in college. I picked up a little bit about the time when my kids were born. I was picking up for a while. I want to get back into it again, little by little. We'll see what happens. But yeah, really, when you see these comic books, these series, you will understand where these guys are getting their inspirations from. The Hawkeye TV series, for instance, felt so much like 2 or 3 of the runs that I can think of the Hawkeye comic book series. It just felt right. They got the vibe of it perfect. I thought it was so.
I want to go back and rewatch it.
I mean, it was a fun series. It was a great series. I love Haley Steinfeld is such an up and coming talent. She's a wonderful singer. She's also the Queen of Buffalo now. So the Buffalo Mafia, the Bills Mafia will know her very well.
Avenger.
They have an Avenger in the family now. Yes. That's got to be great. These are love letters to fans. They really are. They're good series. They're well written, but they're also love letters to diehard fans that have just been dying to see these guys in live action for a long time. So worth the effort.
Haley was just in Sinners, and she sang in it, and she was phenomenal. I haven't seen it, but
I did see the trailer. I have not seen the movie yet, but I hear a lot of great things about the movie. I hear a lot of great things because it's a horror movie, and I'm not usually a big horror fan.
I'll wait until it comes out on Netflix.
Yeah, so we can do this and hide behind pillows.
That's what I was doing this afternoon.
Yeah.
While we were watching the last one, I was going like that, and you're like, "Wait, don't look.
Don't look."
So, yeah, it was one of those things that don't look, and there was a lot of me diving my head into Sean's shoulder in The Accountant too,
right?
With the headshots.
Ooh. So, on Andy's schedule,
okay,
next week is probably going to end up being a Thunderbolts review. So that means I'm not gonna get a chance to see it, right?
No.
So we're gonna hold off on that for now. We're going to probably go through a couple of these other suggestions, and we're not sure what we're going to be doing, but we'll be back in a week on Monday night, and we'll be doing something.
Yeah, I won't be able to have a chance to see it until like the 10th.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get out and see it, and it's a scheduling thing. It really is at this point, but we'll figure it out. So, all right. So let's see what we got here. Mark Bernardin just did a 2-hour podcast on Sinners, spoiled it immensely, but was really impressed. Okay.
Did he start the thing with spoilers? Talk about Andor. That means I got to binge 2 seasons of Andor.
Yeah, she's still on season 1 of Andor. So yeah, so Peter, we are going to talk about Andor. I promise. That's on the list. It's something we're going to do. I have to pick up on it. I still haven't even watched an episode of the new season of Doctor Who yet. I'm actually waiting for a couple more to stack up, and I'm going to binge a bunch of them in one day.
I've seen the first episode.
Yeah,
that's all I've seen.
Yeah, so I'm hearing good things. People are enjoying it so far. There's been some good storytelling, which is what I expect from my favorite show.
Oh, we have 3 whole weeks before Andor ends. Okay.
All right, so we got 3 weeks to start working that out. But you keep going back to Andromeda.
I love Andromeda.
Andromeda ended what, 25 years ago? 20 years ago? Alexa, when did the TV show Andromeda run?
Andromeda ran from 2000 through 2005.
So,
over the course of the show, there were 5 seasons and 110 episodes.
Thank you, dear. So 20 years ago.
I just hit the 100th episode, and it's like watching a cross between Star Trek.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was written by Gene Roddenberry when it first started.
And produced by Majel
Barrett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean,
no, I will not be doing an Andromeda review.
No. I liked it.
I like parts of it. I don't like Kevin Sorbo. I haven't liked him since Hercules. So,
but can I tell you just how many nods to Hercules that are in Andromeda? At least one of the last episodes, he opens a panel and pulls out a really, really long sword. And he goes, huh.
Tongue in cheek.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing is like but I'm like looking at him as the character as Captain Dylan Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
He's rude.
Yeah.
He's very rude and
Dylan Hunt is an asshole.
yes.
He really is.
It's right. But I didn't necessarily watch it for Kevin Sorbo and Dylan Hunt. I love Lexa Doig.
I think she's phenomenal.
And so this season, which is the season I'm on, is season 5. She isn't in it for a good portion of the season. And I'm thinking she might have had a baby
Yes, she did.
during that time.
You know who she's married to in real life?
The one that was one of the avatars in an earlier show was Michael.
It's Michael Shanks
Yeah.
from Stargate SG-1.
Yeah. Talia al Ghul. Yes. Talia al Ghul from.
Yep. She's done it too.
But so they had a different actress in playing part of Rami's avatar named Doyle, but then they brought in Rami just this last episode in. She wanted revenge because she was mad.
She was mad.
She was mad. But her body shape had changed dramatically from season 4 to season 5.
Yeah, because she's mommy now.
Yeah. So I'm just like, and they're all like, oh. Yeah, because but I just love the fact that she can kick major rear end.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's like, and
so to circle back to the main topic of the day, Daredevil, Born Again, recommended. Watch it carefully, and sometimes you're gonna have to watch it like this, unless you're okay with blood and gore, because there's a lot of it in certain places, especially when the Punisher gets going.
Oh, and Kingpin during this last episode.
Oh, he pulls a mountain and
from Game of Thrones. Yeah.
And that was
Commissioner.
Yeah. So that happens.
That's definitely spoilers.
But I like James Gandolfini, who was Tony Soprano in Sopranos. He passed away, right? His son is the one who plays David, the deputy mayor.
Oh, the one that's like was trying to bring a present to Matt.
He's the no. That was the fixer.
Oh,
that's the fixer. The short pudgy kid.
Oh, okay.
Who's trying to play the game? He thinks he's
he's whatever. Now he's the deputy commissioner. Deputy mayor of communications.
That's James Gandolfini's kid, and I tell you, the character, you're like,
oh. You don't know if you want to like him or not.
You're not sure if you want to like him or not. And he just rides that edge and plays it so carefully. It's just, this kid's a good actor. You're going to see some interesting things on him.
So I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of like him. Whatever. Now I'm like, oh my God, he's an asshole.
A lot of great acting in this part. Like, a lot of great acting.
Just the facial expressions he gets that makes him look like a slimy sleazeball.
And that's exactly Exactly
it. I'm like, ugh.
So, all right, that's all we're going to talk about this week. But we'll be back next week with another topic that we haven't chosen yet, but we're going to figure that out along the way. We love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with us for another almost 40 minutes on a Monday night.
And it won't be Andromeda.
Not this
time. I just wanted to rewatch it. I like the series.
I'm glad you do. I'm very proud.
Other people might like it too.
Well, I always tell people, do what you like. Enjoy it.
Makes my geeky heart happy.
That's a phrase I haven't heard in a while. Good job.
Oh, I always use it with kids. So it's like, whatever makes your heart happy. That's what I say. But now.
Juno sighting. All right.
She's like, I want to go to the corner of the backyard.
Yeah, you got to go right to the corner of the backyard. Anyway, you guys, we'll be back next week. You guys have a great week.
Have a safe
week. We'll talk to you again
next week.
Night. I gotta go now. Bye-bye.